My name is John Passfield, and the title of this reading will be John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt, Video 21, The Dream Nightmares. So here's the cover, John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt. Here's the summary. A writer, John Passfield, is driving home from a December book discussion meeting and thinking about the Christmas topics that were discussed, in particular Dickens, who wrote a novella that transformed the world's conception of Christmas. He suddenly finds himself sitting in a sleigh, pulled by Rudolph and 8 tiny reindeer. What an excellent opportunity to ask Santa about a 70-year-old puzzle, the mystery of the missing cowboy shirt. Well, there are 8 dream nightmares in this novella. So dream-nightmare, I'll read them and then we'll talk about them a bit. So the first one is on page 15. They're very short. And here's the first one. There it is. There are pages floating above my head. I'm sitting here in my reading chair. I've just completed a novel. I'm wondering what to write next. I have my pen, but the pages are floating away. So that's perhaps more of a nightmare than a dream, I suppose, eh? Here's 31, page 31. Again, just a very short item. I am opening my closet. There are a dozen costumes inside. I have a choice of costumes. I have collected them over time. I'm wondering which costume I should wear. Then we go to 48, page 48. There's someone sitting at my computer. The head is slumped against the screen. I have the urge to write a novel. I won't be able to use my computer unless I open the head of this person and wriggle inside. And then another one is on page 67. A dream nightmare, dream-nightmare. I hover inside my computer screen. I'm floating in a cartridge of ink. I am searching for the exit. I need to be printed on a page. The printer will spit me onto the table or onto the floor. So not very logical on the surface, but that's how dreams and nightmares are. They're telling us something, but they're not telling us anything that's all that logical or obvious, eh? Let's go back to page 17 for another dream nightmare. I'm interviewing Mrs. Claus. She gives me a tour of the house, a little candy cane cottage at the North Pole. I ask a pertinent question. She doesn't know where Santa is today. Then we go to page 33. Here we are, another dream nightmare. I interview some of the elves. They show me through the workshop, a tiny building holding a multitude of toys. I ask a pertinent question. They don't know where Santa is today. And then 51, another dream nightmare, or another extension of that same dream nightmare. I'm riding in a sleigh. It's pulled by 8 tiny reindeer, led by a reindeer with a shiny red nose. We fly above the rooftops. Beside me, holding the reins, is an interesting entity. And then page 71. Here we are here. A large entity in a fur-trimmed suit, black boots, and a white beard, exactly as everything should be, but there's something that disturbs me. I wonder where Santa is today. So, dreams and nightmares, they sometimes things very familiar but presented in a way which is very disturbing and off-kilter. What if you're sitting beside Santa, but you're wondering whether it really was Santa? Because somehow he doesn't seem to be interested in the things you'd expect Santa to be interested in. Anyway, we all have dreams. We all have nightmares. I suppose it's been said that one person's dream is another person's nightmare, and that a dream at one time in one's life can become a nightmare at another time in one's life. And conversely, a nightmare in certain circumstances of one's life can become a dream in other circumstances. It is my contention that we not only have dreams and nightmares during the times that we know about, as when we wake up during the night and realize that we're in the midst of a dream or a nightmare, but that we also have dreams and nightmares during our waking hours, that we have imagery in our minds that doesn't really have surface logic, that isn't obvious in what it's telling us, that we have that during our waking hours as well in our minds. So conscious are we while we're awake of our daily lives, however, and so deep in our subconscious minds are our waking dreams and nightmares that we have no mechanism, such as waking up, which will allow us to get a glimpse of those waking dreams and nightmares. So if you're already awake, you can't wake up and see a dream as you can when you're asleep, so you just don't know it's there. It follows, though, that anyone who wants to depict the human mind at work in an art form, in the art form of the novel, would include such mental activity in the text of the literary work of art. And that's why I have developed a technique of including a series of dream-nightmares in each of my novels and novellas. Now, in movies, the purpose of dreams and nightmares is to scare us. But in actual life, the purpose of dreams and nightmares is to problem solve by the use of analogous imagery which parallels and contrasts with our actual life hopes and fears. So the dream could be just like your life, running on a treadmill, say, or it could be the opposite to your life, lying on the beach in a warm country when it's February back home in Canada. But the dream is telling you something. The inclusion of dreams and nightmares in a literary text is an attempt to get as close as one can in a novel or a novella form in ink and paper to the ways in which our minds actually work, as they action think us through our days and through our lives. So our minds action think us. That's action-think. We act as we think as we act. So here is the novella, John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt. It's found on Amazon. Have a look there for information. It's found on the website of Rocks Mills Press, the publisher. Have a look there. There's also a workbook in which I plan and write the novella, and a journal in which I reflect on it as I'm polishing it. So if you're interested in any aspect of novel writing or myths such as Santa, have a look there for some of my thoughts. And lastly, thank you for watching this video.